Guess what? Beating yourself up over your mistakes, your failures, your fuck-ups doesn't help. And you already know, it makes things worse. It makes things worse. By sitting there and ruminating, self-medicating, just having that negative thinking of just focusing, just trying to wish you could go back and change what you said or what you did or what you didn't do. And we beat ourselves up. We get caught in these negative loops. And it's time to break free of that. It's time to start learning how to keep short accounts when we mess up, take total and complete ownership, and allow yourself to start moving forward in a positive direction with some positive solutions. And it's also lowering the expectation on yourself that you're going to be perfect, that you're never going to mess up. Do you feel like you need to be perfect? That you have no room for error? But yet you sit there in denial because you're human. You're flawed. I'm flawed. We're all flawed. And yet we have these crazy expectations. And most of that, guess where it comes from? Right? Childhood programming. I know that I learned how to manipulate early on because I realized that when I acted on maybe a negative thought and did something to get in trouble, I got in trouble. So it was like I did something bad as a little kid, and then I would get in trouble. And then what I started to teach myself as a child was how to manipulate, where I would lie. Even if my mom knew that I was lying, I would still lie, knowing that I'm going to still get a punishment. I'm making them question themselves. And yet, that never leaves us feeling good. Doesn't matter what age you are. Not being true and authentic to ourselves and to other people, it never leaves us feeling good. What truly leaves you feeling good is that when you take ownership, even when it's scary, when you truly own your shit, as if man, I fucked up. I messed this one up. It's my bad. I'm sorry. And then it's even better if you can learn from the mistake. Hey, I won't be making that mistake again because of X, Y, Z. And here's how I plan to move forward. And you got to mean the shit you say. You got to mean it. And one of the toughest parts about this whole thing is that we beat ourselves up. Are you ready to stop just being so guilt-ridden? So negative towards yourself because you're messing up, because you're making mistakes, because you didn't do this right or didn't do that right. I posted a video a few days ago about losing myself, and it's more of a spiritual letting go versus the negative version of myself that I used to be, which was a people pleaser, because I had a fear of abandonment that I would literally lose myself by sacrificing myself. This ain't the same. You need to hear this clearly. There is an absolute difference between spiritually going through what's called an ego death, which is you literally let go energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally. You're willing to just sacrifice everything, not yourself though. You don't sacrifice yourself, but yet you're willing to let go of everything that you have defined yourself by. And that's everything from relationships to experiences, failures, job titles, paychecks, bankruptcies, the car you drive, the home you drive, all of these things that you use on the external to identify who you are. You're willing to let go of all that, clear the slate, completely clear the slate, So that way only what is true for you and what is true to you will remain. That's the beautiful thing, because when you say lose yourself and let go, you right away we get so afraid. Oh man, that's my favorite. What about this? It's my favorite. I mean, it's even just like, especially it's our beliefs. Do you have a belief that you're afraid to let go, that if you let go, you lose it? Ask yourself that. Do you have a belief that by letting something go, that you lose it? Here's the thing. When you spiritually say to yourself, to God, I'm willing to let this go. I'm willing to sacrifice this. I'm willing to surrender this to you, God. You only lose it if it's not meant for you. Everything that's meant for you literally boomerangs back. You let it go, it was like a test, and it comes right back to you. It's a beautiful thing. It's a scary thing, though. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of spiritual maturity. It takes a lot of that healing work to where, you know, as men especially, we're so focused on our body of work, right? I'm proud of my body of work. I'm a lean, mean fighting machine, more powerful than I've ever been. I'm almost 46 years young. And yet, the real work that I've needed to do has been on the inside. It's the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual health. And I think most men you're avoiding that. And so even when you think about a lot of negative habits and patterns and behaviors that we're using to escape, we're using it as a self-medicating approach to rid ourselves of the negative feelings that we're feeling, the uncomfortable feelings that we're feeling. Let's just call it depression. So then we go and we fucking work our asses off and we hit the gym and we get ripped, and you see it. I see it all the time. I see the guys with the hoods and locked in, and I'm battling my demons. And trust me, I would much rather have you in there doing that than just sitting back watching TV, getting drunk, getting high, using other people, women, doing nefarious shit. I'd much rather have people with positive stress relieving activities. But here's the kicker. This is the dividing line. Are you using it as a means to changing your mood? If you need it to shift your mood, then the truth be told, it's still an escape. If you're truly going to the gym because you have values that align with health and fitness and staying active and lean, and the work you put in the gym is then translated into the real world so that you show up as a stronger, more focused, more disciplined, more powerful version of yourself in a positive way, then that's incredible. Keep doing it. And I'm not saying stop doing it, even if you're doing it just to, like, you're so tense, you're so angry, you just, better than beating the shit out of somebody, or, you know, it's better to go beat yourself up. Go get that iron therapy. I'm all for it. I'm 100% for it. The iron therapy, the nature therapy, the cold water therapy. But I'm also about the talk therapy, hypnotherapy, breath work, right? Whatever therapies that you haven't tried, maybe there's some stuff that you could try that may give you some real relief. But nothing is going to truly be long-lasting enough if you're not able to sit there with yourself, by yourself, undistracted, in a sober state of mind, and go within to truly understand, where's this feeling coming from? Why am I feeling so angry? Why am I feeling so overwhelmed? Oh wait, I'm not even feeling angry. I'm feeling scared. That's some deep shit. When you can translate, wait, I'm not angry. My reaction is angry. My body has been programmed to respond with anger. But I'm fucking scared shitless about this situation. I'm scared about losing this. I'm scared about this happening or that happening or whatever your circumstances are. We're all experiencing different things. But it's so interesting how we are limited by our emotions. And once you're able to master your emotional state of being, man, you're unstoppable. Because you no longer have to question, why am I over there working out? Well, you're working out because you're trying to be the role model. You're trying to be an example. Why are you eating healthy? Why are you saying no to the drink? Why are you saying no to the smoke? Why are you saying no to the pornography? Why are you saying no to being a womanizer? You're actually willing to work on yourself for a season or two or longer to truly write down who your dream partner is and then to become that person. Because here's the trick. If you want to improve the relationships you have with other people, it starts with the relationship you have with yourself. And I truly believe most men, most people hearing this message, you have a mediocre, if not a bad relationship with yourself. And that doesn't even sound good. It sounds shitty. And it's almost like, what is he talking about? How is that even possible? Think about it. From the earliest stages of life, everything's externalized. I think this is by design. This is the whole trick. This is the game, the secret. The secret to this whole experience is to truly connect with your true and authentic self. And yet the game is that we get born into this life and everything's externalized. We look for all our needs to be met on the outside, our mommies, our daddies, our families. And then it's like we get into school and we have to, meet the needs of what the teacher tells us to do. And then we learn about authoritarian figures and governmental. And then we learn about everyone else's history. And we never learn about ourselves in this whole process. Everyone else is pouring in their beliefs, their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, their fear. And a lot of times when you're 0 to 10 years old, not a lot of times, this is how it works. From 0 to 10 years old, you're literally a recording device. So everything that you experience, the happy, the sad, the terrified, the words, the doubts, the guilt, the shame that gets spoken into you, you record all this. And guess what? That becomes your subconscious state of being. So that when you're living, and most of us are living in an unconscious state of being, y'all ain't even really present to truly be present. Right? You want to be present for a couple minutes? Do this. Kick off your shoes and socks, get in some dirt, do some breath work, listen to a meditation, try and connect with your breath, connect with your heart, and just be present. Try and still the mind. Let the thinking mind take a break. We need to stop. We need to let our thinking minds take a break, take a rest. Because most of us were our own worst enemies. Our minds. We overthink every fucking thing. And the bad shit is it's like 10x. You have a good thing happen and you just kind of wasn't good enough. Instead of celebrating those small wins. That's living life with intention. The small wins in life every single day, living life with intention, setting small goals every day to do something new, something for you, and then do something kind for somebody else, expecting nothing in return. You start showing up with those 3 things every day to do something new, something for you specifically that brings a smile to your face, and something for somebody else, man, that's major wins. But before you can even get to that, it's like, are you ready to start doing life on life's terms and being sober and fucking kicking the vices to the curb? Because here's the thing, I believe that in this day and age where we're at right now, the total and complete package, the greatest version, the best version of yourself, isn't just, do you have the bag? Do you have the car? Do you have the girl? Do you have the house? Do you have the job? Do you have the body? Right? It's mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, physical health, and then financial health. It's the total package. And so many of us, it's the external. We have a facade, right? We have all these things good, but then when we get into the interpersonal LTRs, marriages, and all these other things, guess what? We're still miserable. We're still lonely. It didn't fix it. What the fuck? I'm self-sabotaging the best relationship of my life. Is that you? Are you self-sabotaging the best relationship of your life? Because of why? Because you haven't done the internal work. You haven't truly started to reconnect with the inner child, to heal, to hear, to listen, to see, to forgive. The inner child. To integrate that inner child's voice and presence in your everyday life. There is a lot of truth when we say that we're just, a grown-up kid. There's truth in that. If you really look around at people, it's like they are acting out in very childish, immature, tantrum type ways. When we don't get our way, when we don't have our expectations met, right? And that's usually what deteriorates the intimacy, the connection, the emotional safety within the relationship. And the reason why you're doing that is because you haven't truly connected with your inner child and listening to that inner child. And if this is something that is resonating with you and it's something that you've yet to really cross that bridge, I'm here for you. I'll continue to speak on this because I truly do believe this is the core difference between me and probably everyone else out there. There's a lot of people talking on this, but there's a lot more people talking about what? The bag, the body, the relationship, the external relationship, when it's all about the internal. If you want long-lasting, sustainable bliss, happiness, peace, joy, because you're feeling empty inside, you're feeling miserable, you're feeling lonely, even in a relationship, it's because you haven't made the time and the effort and put in the work to really connect with your inner self, that inner child, that little boy, that little girl that is crying out. It's actually probably stopped at this point. It's already stopped. It's just shut the fuck down. And that's probably what you do too. You shut down. When things get tough, when you're not feeling seen, when you're not feeling heard, and you don't even understand that, you're just trying to be right. You shut down. You avoid. And I'm here to help you. If you would like to schedule a one-on-one private session to discuss this, and there's a lot of you coming up saying, man, there's a lot of people showing up, and I thank you so much. That these messages are stimulating you to open up. It's actually incredible. It's incredible to see courageous, strong, badass motherfucking men opening up with some vulnerability in a public space. I encourage you to keep doing it. I'm creating this community of warriors that have a heart, that have an ability to feel. It's being the warrior in the garden. That's who I am. And that's who I am attracting to me. And that's what I want to help you to become as well. To become a warrior in the garden. To be a strong, stoic, virtuous man. But that is able to feel and to care and to love and to hold emotional safety for not only yourself first, but all those that you love around you. And really what this is, you guys, what it boils down to is, one, it's an ego death that you go through. But secondly, it's understanding energetic dynamics. And a lot of times this stuff starts to sound too new agey and esoteric, but this is how it works. We all have a measure of masculine and feminine energy within us. And there's a lot of dudes out there that go way too masculine. And there's a lot of dudes out there that go way too feminine. And the vice versa is with the women. We're seeing a lot more women get way in their masculine and not so much. I don't feel like there's probably not as many women getting into their feminine. But it takes men to lead, and that's really where I start. And I do believe that one of the biggest breakthroughs for me is that I was able to start getting connected with my emotional state of being instead of suppressing it, instead of sucking it the fuck up, and starting to do the emotional heavy lifting, processing the emotions, understanding that it's not the anger, it's really the fear. And the fear and the being afraid is what is triggering an anger, vitriol, confrontational response. Because it's sort of a smoke and mirrors. It's a mask. But really underneath the surface is a little boy that's scared and needs to be protected. And because in the past I didn't have the words, because I wasn't connected with my emotional state of being, I wasn't willing to allow myself to say, ooh, something shifted, man. What's going on inside of me? Well, you got this going on and you had that just happen. And this is going down too. And you're worried about that. You know what? You're afraid. Flat out, you're afraid. But instead of when I was living unconscious, all of those things happening that was making me feel afraid, I didn't want to show weakness. So guess what? I showed strength. And that strength was toxic. That strength pushed people I loved away. Versus the healed version of me now that has a balance. I've balanced the masculine and the feminine. And that is truly the harmonious piece that so many of you men are missing. Because the ego is still there. You're still cheering on a dude hitting a home run in the bottom of the 10th in the biggest game of the world to win the whole game, and acting as if you took that swing, as if you showed up to every practice throughout the course of your life to show up in that moment with that level of pressure. But here's the truth, is you can be the absolute clutch game-winning champion of your own life if you're willing to turn off the spectacles and the distractions and start really focusing in on what matters most. And that is your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and financial state of being. Being the role model, being the team captain of your team. And it starts with you. You're a team of one. And you probably, maybe if you got kids and you got family, right? You're their team captain too. Are you ready for the challenge? Are you willing to accept this challenge today? Or are you going to just keep doing the same thing? Keep putting in the grind, keep chasing after the bag, keep putting in the time in the gym, and yet when the relationship shows up, it falls apart because you're missing the key that unlocks the door. And it's all right here. You have it all right here, right now. If you're hearing my voice, it's not an accident. This is not a coincidence. I am being called for a time such as this, and guess what that means? So are you. You are being called for a time such as this. Your time is now. And I am here for you. If you want to start investing some time and focus and energy into yourself, I have 25 free lessons on the Results Kill Excuses app. All you gotta do is type in those 3 magic words into your app store and poof, 25 lessons for self-discovery. And it's not easy work. But what's cool about the app is that I've turned a lot of just writing and journaling type work, reflectionary work into worksheets. If you haven't, just go check it out. I would love to hear your feedback, and I would love for you to truly give yourself permission to try something new. If whatever you're doing ain't working, to truly give you the peace and the joy and the happiness that you deserve. Everything else is a lie. Everything else is the false identity. And it's time for you to truly start understanding how to love yourself. And one of the courses is called Making Over My Relationships. And guess the relationship you need to make over first and foremost, the one with yourself. I thank you all for hearing the message. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for continuing to comment and connect with me. It brings me so much joy and happiness to know that I'm not just spitting in the wind with this message, that the time is now. And that the time is for us to start connecting, creating safe communities for us to heal, to grow, and expand into the greatest version of ourselves for the greatest good. That's what I've become. The man that's showing up here is the man I've always needed in my life that never showed up for me. So I made that man. I healed this man. And I've manifested this man to now give back to society, give back to the world at large through my example. Spotlight's on me. I believe your health is your wealth. And I'm going to continue speaking truth, speaking life into your heart, into your mind, and into your soul. So stay tuned. I love you guys. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Greg's out.